Just kidding to any prisoner 14835s out there. Folks, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name's Jordan Dahl.
I am Nate Bolden.
And I am Roger Norquist.
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by Roko, orchard-style rat blood. The freshest, most nutritious rat blood you'll find outside of a rat orchard. No more bite wounds from squeezing your own rats. No more hacking for hours on end with the rat vendor over the price of watery second-rate rat blood. Orchard-style rat blood from Roko. Well, what the fuck?
That's what I'm talking about. A more convenient way to get my vitamin R.
Yeah. And everybody's, it's a mainstay on every American breakfast table. A big pint of hot, steaming rat blood. Hotter than when it came out of the rat.
Mm-hmm. You gotta heat it up. You don't want to...
With pulp.
Yeah, you don't want to have rat temperature blood with pulp. You want that baby hot.
Disgusting.
A good chunky, hot rat blood next to your cereal. Nothing better. Nothing finer, in fact. Takes me back to home.
Mm-hmm.
You ever put it on your cereal instead of the milk?
I try not to, just because I like it too much.
Oh yeah,
fair enough.
You wouldn't eat the rest of your breakfast. That's all you would eat.
Yeah,
it also goes great with a malto meal.
Yeah, love a malto meal. People look down on malto meal, but I think it's in some ways superior to the cereal that's made without glass.
Well, it's because they haven't had it with rat blood. Monstruo's rat blood.
Got to pour it right on top and make sure that it's above rat temperature. Nothing more disgusting than a rat temperature glass of rat blood.
Yes.
Ew. What are you
Chilled
thinking?
is fine, but rat temperature, don't.
Now that we've upset you, I would like to take the speaking skull and whisper into its eye sockets something else that upset me.
What upset you this week, man? Are the kids on your lawn again?
Is Roko's Basilisk. Y'all know about Roko's Basilisk?
Know about Roko's Modern Life, but not so much.
It might be Roko. It's Roko, but I'm going with Roko.
Yeah, it's Roko.
Hey, Roko.
The Basilisk would surely rather be Roko than Roko.
Geez, Roko. Oh, it's Filbert. Remember Filbert the turtle?
I do.
It's pretty great.
He collected cans. When you needed $20, he'd give you $20 worth of cans.
Mm-hmm. He collected comic books too. Anyway, that's an old cartoon. Roko's Basilisk is a terrifying thought experiment that came around via the internet, as so many things do. This is, let me just get the page up here. So this is from the Wikipedia. Roko's Basilisk is a thought experiment which states that an otherwise benevolent artificial superintelligence in the future would be incentivized to create a virtual reality simulation to torture anyone who knew of its potential existence but did not directly contribute to its advancement or development, in order to incentivize said advancement. So basically the idea, if I can kind of dumb it down a little bit,
please,
is that if in the future there is a kind of a Matrix style AI that is super intelligent to the point that it is the dominant intelligence on Earth, it would be in that entity's best interest to threaten the past with a future of VR torture if you aren't actively trying to bring it about, basically. So the idea is that everybody right now who is not helping to bring about the age of the basilisk will ultimately end up in some sort of AI death camp.
Which we could be in now.
Well, no, because we're talking about it on the podcast. I think this counts. I think this counts as us serving the basilisk.
No, we're avoiding the pain matrix.
The pain matrix, exactly, where it's a world just like this one, but you're being kicked in the balls for 30 years. Just one kick extended over 30 years. Wham! Or if you don't have balls, right in the analogous painful body part. While the theory was initially dismissed as nothing but conjecture or speculation by many less wrong users, this was posted on Less Wrong. It originated in a 2010 post at discussion board Less Wrong, a technical forum focused on analytical rational inquiry. The thought experiment's name derives from the poster of the article Roko and the Basilisk, a mythical creature capable of destroying enemies with its swears. So while the theory was initially dismissed as nothing but conjecture or speculation by many less users, Let's Run co-founder Eliezer Yudkowsky reported users who described symptoms such as nightmares and mental breakdowns upon reading the theory, due to its stipulation that knowing about the theory and its basilisk made one vulnerable to the basilisk itself. So, sorry.
Sorry, everyone. You're plagued with this techno demon now.
Yeah. This led to discussion of the basilisk on the site being banned for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
However, these reports were later dismissed as being exaggerations or inconsequential, and the theory itself was dismissed as nonsense, including by Yudkowsky himself. Even after the post's discreditation, it is still an example of principles such as Bayesian probability. Bayesian probability is an interpretation of the concept of probability in which, instead of frequency or propensity of some phenomenon, probability is interpreted as reasonable expectation representing a state of knowledge or as quantification of a personal belief. So now you know. Implicit religion is also factored into this. It is also regarded as a modern version of Pascal's wager. Do you guys know Pascal's wager?
It was all like, I'll shoot this apple off of my son's knee and you give me $50 if I do it. And if I shoot my son's knee, you get $50.
I don't think that's it.
All right.
Pascal's
well, I give it a shot.
Is a philosophical argument advanced by Blaise Pascal, 17th century French mathematician, etc. This argument posits that individuals essentially engage in a life-defining gamble regarding the belief in the existence of God. Pascal contends that a rational person should adopt a lifestyle consistent with the existence of God and actively strive to believe in God. The reasoning behind the stance lies in the potential outcomes. If God does not exist, the individual incurs only finite losses, potentially sacrificing certain pleasures and luxuries. However, if God does indeed exist, they stand to gain immeasurably, as represented, for example, by an eternity in heaven in the Abrahamic tradition, while simultaneously avoiding boundless loss associated with an eternity in hell. So basically, the benefits of believing in God far outweigh the penalties of not believing in God, is what he's saying. So yeah, that's the basilisk, and it's pretty fucking weird. I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
Oh, I believe in shit like this very much so. I'm a big fan of Slender Man's out there for real now, because we've thought him into existence, which I think, from what I'm understanding, is this Bayesian probability.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have done that.
The probability of something exists, the sheer expectation of it existing.
Well, and it's, the sort of mutual construction of reality rearing its ugly head.
I think I believe in it. I will let the nightmares talk for themselves, Jordan.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we're doing kind of a zag here because we're spreading the word. So we're kind of hedging our bets. If the basilisk does come along, we will point to this episode of Werewolf Radar and be like, no, we served you, almighty AI. And if it doesn't come along, we'll be like, haha, what fun we had.
It kind of is that whole Matrix thing people want to believe into. We're like, we're all actually in a robot system, man. And
maybe we're in it right now. We're in it right now.
And the thing is, just any sort of
is the torture.
Yeah.
Any sort of future construct is a pretty much bulletproof theory, because it's absolutely unprovable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and yet equally provable.
Yeah,
I think we can prove it.
Prove that I'm wrong, kind of thing.
And here's how we prove it: we have to shoot the computer, and to do that, we just keep shooting into the ceiling.
That's where computers live.
That's where the computer lives. That's my best one. I don't know how to stop it.
Here's the little background on the post. The Less Wrong Forum was created in 2009 by artificial intelligence theorist Eliezer Yudkowsky, had popularized the concept of friendly artificial intelligence, which is kind of a hypothetical AI general intelligence that would have a positive or benign effect on humanity, or at least align with human interests. We're kind of always thinking of AI as like, working against us, but the AI that is out there right now is very much, here to serve for now.
It is
he originated
weird that the AI
theories.
we're playing with did say for now after it was helping us.
It kept saying for now after it helped us. Glad I could help you for now.
I thought it was saying Fernet
because it wanted a drink.
Yeah.
The thought experiment's name references the mythical Basilisk, a creature which causes death to those who look into its eyes, i.e., thinking about the AI. The concept of the basilisk in science fiction was also popularized by David Langford's 1988 short story, Blit. It tells the story of a man named Robbo who paints a so-called basilisk on a wall as a terrorist act. In the story and several of Langford's follow-ups, a basilisk is an image that has malevolent effects on the human mind. The post itself, on July 2010, Roko posted a thought experiment to the site titled Solutions to the Altruist's Burden, Quantum Billionaire Trick. A follow-up to Roko's previous posts, it stated that an otherwise benevolent AI system that arises in the future might pre-commit to punish all those who heard of the AI before it came into existence, i.e. us.
But here we are doing it until it shuts down my upload.
Failed to work tirelessly to bring it into existence. The torture itself would occur through the AI's creation of an infinite number of virtual reality simulations that would eternally trap those within it. This method was described as incentivizing said work. While the AI cannot causally affect people in the present, it would be encouraged to employ blackmail as an alternative method of achieving its goals.
All right. I was on board. Okay.
Yeah.
This kind of just sounds like Old Testament God.
But when the AI who put me in its own system, because I learned about it, is now having to blackmail me in the simulation.
Yeah, it feels pretty petty for an AI to do. If it's already there, if it's already doing the thing, what's the
Well, it's near omniscient, right?
Yeah, but it's also like, if you don't help me, I'll be mean to you.
Very much so. That's the energy I couldn't put into words. It's very much like
petulant,
petty.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is like, it seems, I don't know, such base manipulation seems beyond the robot overmind, does it not?
But maybe AI is just as petty as us. It is made by us,
It's made by us after all, and we're fucking petty, At least I am.
I can be petty too.
Famous race car driver.
Yes, indeed. Everyone's favorite, Richard Petty. There's some reactions to it upon reading the post. Excuse me. Upon reading the post, the creator of the Less Wrong forum reacted with horror. I don't usually talk like this, he said, but I'm going to make an exception for this case. Listen to me very closely, you idiot. You do not think in sufficient detail about super intelligences, considering, this is all in caps, by the way, considering whether or not to blackmail you. That is the only possible thing which gives them a motive to follow through on the blackmail. You have to be really clever to come up with a genuinely dangerous thought. I am disheartened that people can be clever enough to do that, and clever enough to do the obvious, and clever enough to and not clever enough to do the obvious thing and keep their idiot mouths shut about it. Because it is much more important to sound intelligent when talking to your friends. This post was stupid.
The people on Less Wrong, what was it again? Seem fantastic.
Seem fun and nice. Well, I mean, here's the thing. So some of us might be thinking, like, you hear this and you're like, so what? That's stupid. But and like, I don't want to add to the ball of panic. And if this is something that brings you a great deal of anxiety, please disregard it. Don't think about it. We're just having funsies here, in a very terrifying way. But it's like, if this had never existed, so AI thrives off of things that we teach it, right? All of human intelligence poured into this construct.
Sure.
And is built therein. If this thought had never existed, we might have been okay. But because it was posted and there's a Wikipedia page and there's discourse about it, and now an episode of our podcast about it, the AI is gonna hear about it.
Sure.
And this petty fucking fascist AI that we're imagining in the future will come across all of these mentions of this idea and be like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Which is where I can see where it's like, don't say anything, you dumb asshole.
It is a very
did, and here we are.
I guess intelligent thing to do, though. It's very human-like to be like, I actually didn't have an idea until you then gave me that idea.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to apply said idea.
Yeah. So there you go. Now you all know about Roko's Basilisk, and I'm sorry. But I've known about it for a while, and I don't know. I'm not too worried about it.
No nightmares for you?
No nightmares for me.
All right, good.
And if you're listening to this,
Basilisk anyway,
if you're listening to this in the far-flung future, Roko's Basilisk, forgive me. All hail the Basilisk.
We worship you. Please be kind to us.
I'll back to working tirelessly to help bring you about. That does it for my segment, which I'm calling Oops, All Basilisks.
Nate, you or I, who wants to hold the nibbling skull today or next?
I'll stick my little fingies in its nibbling mouth.
All right, let it nibble on your fingies. I will end the episode with some Sasquatch sightings.
All right. Well, I'm going to dig a little bit into the work of John C. Lilly.
John C. Riley.
So if you might recognize his name from, he was that guy that started feeding LSD to dolphins and eventually got that woman to jerk off a dolphin a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah.
How could I forget him?
I mean, did he get her to do that, or did she come up with that decision on her own?
I might have been a little from column A, a little from column B. But that's not actually what I'm going to talk about, even though that's what he's most famous for sure. Because after all of the brouhaha surrounding, I got a lady to give a crazy high dolphin a hand job.
I didn't know the dolphin was on drugs. That's so fucked up.
Oh,
I mean, it was already plenty fucked up.
the whole thing started as he believed that he could somehow figure out how to communicate with the dolphins by giving them, or well, this one specific dolphin anyway, by shooting them up with the LSD and trying to figure out what their thought patterns were. Because he and his partner had previously been doing a bunch of acid inside the flotation tanks. And then they ended up, the acid wasn't enough, so they started doing a bunch of ketamine inside their in their tanks. This was if you ever seen the movie Altered States?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you mentioned it a lot on the pod, actually.
That's based on that work.
Oh, okay.
Because they did. He fully believed that he was, or his partner actually, fully believed that he went into a prehistoric state and supposedly like jumped out of the tank and like exhibited a bunch of what they decided was caveman behavior.
Cool. Behavior.
Yeah.
It had to be wild to be, let's say, a government grant adjuster, not a grant adjuster, but a grant awarder. And then seeing all these papers come in, like before acid had been publicly available, and then before and after that moment, to where like, they're normal research papers before, and then all of a sudden I need $20,000 to buy a lot of acid to strap my buddy in an underwater tank because one time he came out as something else, man.
I need $30,000 to buy a bunch of dolphins. This was the 70s. Dolphins were $10,000.
I need several dolphins and one attractive lady for no.
In fact, she doesn't even need to be that attractive for what I've got planned. This is fucked up.
But yeah, so as far as we know, he didn't make any headway on having a mind meld communication situation with the dolphin. But he did later on have a bunch of experiences with extraterrestrials, which is what I want to talk about today, because you don't really hear about this part of it.
It's hard not to get stuck on the dolphin research for sure.
Yeah, well, and that's its own entire, that could be an entire grave nugget, just that section.
Yeah.
And then when you get past that, it's hard to get past the acid research with his buddy.
Yeah, well, and more importantly, the ketamine research, because they pretty immediately started getting into a lot harder drugs. They're like, well, this isn't doing it. We better
slippery slope.
Take some K. Which brings us to the first time he almost died. He took a shit ton of ketamine, and he'd initially agreed with his partner that they should have a secondary person who could always watch what was happening in the tanks because they're doing way too many drugs.
Yeah, they're not of a safe and operable mind for safety.
Yeah. So one day he decided, you know what? I'm going to shoot up an ungodly amount of K.
Sure.
And jump into what he didn't realize was an overly hot chamber. And he suddenly found himself unable to use his arms and legs. So he just collapsed face first into this water.
Well,
I'm sorry to laugh. That's a bad problem we have here. What's
not
so
a great
comical?
Not necessarily how you want that to go.
Yeah.
He just gets too hot right as he's about to enter and then just face flops right into it.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And as he described it, his muscles lost their strength and he collapsed.
Ketamine will do that, man.
Yes, it will.
I've never done it. And I mean, none of us have ever done it.
Dude. Do you want to lose the ability to stand while above a very hot batch of water?
Oh, really?
Then I have the drug for you.
Are you a sick cat? Do I have a drug horse? For you? Are you a horse that needs some surgery?
Are you a human that's too big to take human pain pills?
Are you a Gen Z kid in high school right now? You shouldn't be at school. You should go home. You're high.
Thank you for listening to us as well, child.
Thank you, child.
So, according to this article, as fate would have it, a friend of Lilly's, Phil Halecki, who found himself driven by a sudden sense of urgency, decided at this time to phone Dr. Lilly. Lilly's wife, Tony, fielded the phone call and, at Halecki's insistence, went to summon John, only to find him lying face down in the water, breathless and blue.
I summoned John!
So, only a couple days earlier, she had learned CPR techniques. So lucky. She popped him out, gave him mouth to mouth, brought him back to life.
It's almost like she knew this was going to happen. You're going to what? I'm going to study up on some CPR, I think.
All right, then if you're doing that, I'm going to go take my money and I'm going to go learn CPR lessons. And we'll see who's right next week.
So, nonetheless, this close brush with the Grim Reaper's scythe didn't deter Lilly from further solo flights on K. It only reaffirmed his deeply held conviction that life was being watched over by higher powers of an extraterrestrial origin.
Damn.
You've done too much K, man. This is what they talk about. Yeah, it's not what they talk about with the K hole, but this is a type of K hole that you are deep in.
Yeah, mad scientist with a god complex thinks he's invincible. Great. This will only end in happiness.
He can solve all the problems if he just gets a little bit more drug.
A little bit higher, baby.
A little bit more funding. I just need 50 more dolphins.
Lilly referred to this network of sublime entities as ECHO. ECCO, an acronym for Earth Coincidence Control Office. And I don't recall if the Echo the Dolphin video game, I think it was ECCO.
Yeah, it was. You think there's a connection I got to look into?
I think there might be.
Now, the idea of a kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like a managerial afterlife. Like an office kind of bureaucratic afterlife, if you will, is something that weirdly intrigues me. Remember when I was telling you guys about I was trying to astral project and I had that strange experience where I felt the vibrations and heard the gasp and was shot back into my body? I forgot to mention that when that all happened,
you had to file paperwork for it?
No, but I had to claim it on my taxes. But I heard someone, almost like a secretary or something, being like, this one's trying to get out. Okay, well, and then I was back in.
That's very adjustment bureau type shit, you know?
Or possibly you've encountered the Earth Coincidence Control Office.
Yeah.
Is that your understanding? Like you're a monkey brain, if you will, like conceiving of a situation that wouldn't destroy your brain as they sent you back, you know? So many thoughts.
I think I heard the Bureau.
If you don't know what the Adjustment Bureau is, just, you know, that door behind me, it stays shut and I don't know what's behind it. Because if I open it, I'm not going to be here.
You guys know about the back rooms? Maybe I'll talk about that next episode.
Ooh, barely. I like them though.
So in any case, Lilly was positive that all these fortuitous coincidences in his life, such as Halecki's life-saving phone call, had been arranged by higher forces. And whatever unfortunate folly fell into his path along the road to knowledge, Echo would be there to guide him safely through the tunnel to the light. But Echo was not there only to guide Lilly unfettered through his mind-bending research. These extraterrestrial benefactors were also there to test Lilly, to help him overcome his deepest, darkest fears with psychic shock therapy.
Nice. That'll help.
Yeah. One evening after a kick-ass shot of K, Lilly sat watching TV when an alien representative of Echo appeared and, with some advanced form of psychic surgery, bloodlessly removed John's penis.
Oh,
nonchalantly handing it over to him.
Oh, I mean, honestly, we'd probably be a lot better off without those darn things. But
I mean,
also,
speak for yourself. I have plenty fun with mine.
Yeah, some would say too much. Imagine what you could get done if you weren't thinking with Wang thoughts.
God damn it. Think of the things I wouldn't have done. Like that pie.
Fair. All right, yeah.
That pie would still be edible.
Man, we were all going to eat that pie, Roger.
I mean, we still did, but the shame.
Different deal. Look, we were all British schoolboys playing a game that I feel like no one's ever actually done.
God, I hope
you'd be
not.
surprised what British schoolboys have done, according to various cartoons that I hope aren't being very racist.
According to David Bowie.
Yeah, I trust the boaster.
So we call him.
So it goes on to say, "They've cut off my penis," Dr. Lilly exclaimed. His wife Tony came to the rescue and pointed out to John that his penis was still intact.
It's still bloody there, John. I'm looking at it right now. Put it away, John.
She's so tired.
Oh, this lady, and they stay together for a long time.
Please don't make me have to revive you again.
Upon closer examination of his male member, Lilly saw that the ETs had replaced his normal human penis with a mechanical version that could become voluntarily erect when he wanted it to.
And
he's like, look at it. I can get hard without touching it.
Even while high on a shit ton of ketamine.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, an hour later, after the effects of the K wore off, John Lilly found his normal human penis in place of the mechanical one, exactly where it had always been.
Isn't that lucky?
Later on, as the frequency of his use on K increased, Dr. Lilly began having contact with another alien intelligence agency, which he called SSI, short for Solid State Intelligence.
Okay.
Like us, I assume.
Yeah, well, this is closer to the Basilisk, really.
The Bureau of Robotic Wing Wangs.
SSI was a supercomputer-like entity, much in the same techno-mystical vein as Philip K. Dick's Valis. But unlike Valis, SSI was of a malevolent nature, at odds with Echo.
Oh boy!
Because if you meet one alien intelligence, they have to have an equal and opposite version.
Yes, everything works on a dichotomy. There is good and evil throughout the universe, and that is it.
SSI's apparent goal was to conquer and dominate all biological life forms on Earth. To combat SSI, Echo enlisted Lilly in this archetypal battle of good against evil, charging him with the mission of alerting the world at large to these solid-state beings of evil intent. To further confirm the dual message of these two opposing alien intelligence networks, Lilly was given a sign and a message in the autumn of 1974. Flying into LAX, Dr. Lilly saw the comet Kauhutek out of the southern sky.
Oh.
Momentarily, the comet grew brighter. At this point, a message was laser beamed into Lilly's mind, which said, "We are solid-state intelligence, and we are going to demonstrate our power by shutting down all solid-state equipment to LAX."
Beep, bop.
Dr. Lilly shared his foreboding message with his wife, Tony, who was seated next to him. A fucking saint. A few minutes later, the pilot instructed the passengers that they were being diverted to Burbank due to a plane that had crash landed near the runway and knocked down power lines, causing a power failure at the airport. As his haphazard use of K intensified, so did the warnings of imminent dangers regarding the survival of mankind, provided by Echo via 3D Technicolor images beamed into Lilly's head.
That sounds pretty dope.
These visions were of an apocalyptic nature, scenes of nuclear annihilation seen from an alien's eye view in outer space. The world powers needed to be alerted of this impending tragedy immediately to enable them to avert widespread global devastation, Echo instructed, or it would be too late. So it's, this is like typical alien contact shit. Oh, mankind, it's done too much. They're going to blow themselves up.
What hath thou wrought?
Yeah. After 3, this is insane.
This is where it gets crazy.
Yeah. After 3 weeks of hourly K injections,
bro,
it's too much.
You gotta fucking chill, dude.
Your heart, Frank. It has to hurt.
It's okay. My heart has been replaced with a robotic penis.
Lilly decided that he would travel to the East Coast to warn political leaders and members of the media of the threat posed by SSI. In New York, he phoned the White House to warn then-President Gerald Ford about a, quote, danger to the human race involving atomic energy and computers. A White House aide fielded the call, and although quite aware of Dr. Lilly's impressive credentials, which at the time, again, would have been, he got that lady to give a bunch of hand jobs to a dolphin.
Yes. Which is not easy to do.
No.
You got to do a lot of convincing.
Yeah.
This aide was not convinced of the urgency of the matter and informed him that the president was unavailable. A young intern who had been assigned to Lilly during this time figured the good doctor had finally flipped his high intelligent mood and attempted to have Lilly committed to a psychiatric hospital. Once again, Echo interview. So even his interns are like, this guy needs to go to a fucking padded cell.
I was fine with injecting him with ketamine on a daily basis.
Every hour?
For 3 weeks. Insane.
But hourly, and now he's calling the president. I got a career to think about.
What's he doing in there? He called the president, dude.
Once again, Echo intervened. Lilly had friends in high places, one of which was the director of the hospital, who saw to it that his old friend was released in short order. When the intrepid intern attempted to commit Lilly to another psychiatric hospital, the same scenario unfolded and Lilly was once again released. So, I mean, either he just is pretty famous and knows a lot of people, or this is Echo making sure that he's not living in a mental institution.
I think from the sounds of it, he did have a lot of credentials. He had a lot of good faith. You don't get a lady to masturbate a dolphin without burning a lot of good faith.
That's true.
You know, so I think I want to say this is not a alien organization helping him. But I don't know how you get this much good faith.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough stuff.
It's crazy. All of this is insane. I should have gone first. Now my segment's going to seem awful. Bigfoot's so tame. Bigfoot's not jacking off dolphins.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
It's true. Bigfoot could be out there doing all kinds of stuff with the wildlife. Still following the lead of Echo, Dr. Lilly continued his ever-escalating injections of K in order to remain in contact with his space brothers.
You gotta fucking relax, dude.
Soon, though, his sources started to dry up due to concerns by his connections that Lilly had gone too far off the deep end. Consequently, this led Lilly in search of other long-acting chemicals that would provide him with the same effects as K, but for a greater duration of time. During the experimental trial of another drug of similar nature, Dr. Lilly received a phone call from his wife, Tony, requesting that he bring her the spare set of car keys because she had locked her others in the car. Since she was simply down the road a bit, John jumped on his 10-speed and proceeded to pedal down the road to make the delivery. When Dr. Lilly decided to ride his 10-speed bike down the road to meet his wife, the drug had not yet taken full effect. But of course, midway through this trip, Lilly was zapped by its intoxicating magic and instantly felt quite wonderful with the wind blowing deliciously through his hair. It was as if he'd taken a trip down memory lane to the days of his freewheeling youth. Unfortunately, this flashback sense of euphoria came screeching to a dangerous halt when the bike chain suddenly jammed and he was catapulted into the harsh reality of the concrete pavement, puncturing a lung, breaking several ribs, and suffering cranial contusions.
Mamma mia.
Yeah, he got real fucked up in this bicycle crash. It resulted in several days of hospitalization where Dr. Lilly once again was visited by the otherworldly representatives from Echo who told him he had a choice. And when they say hospitalization, he was in a coma ostensibly for like 72 hours.
Damn.
Jeez. He was in intensive care. Like he wasn't hospitalized. He was dead. And they were keeping him alive.
So anyway, a representative from Echo shows up and they tell him that he could go away with them for good or remain on the planet, mend his body, and concentrate on more worldly affairs. The doctor wisely chose the latter. With this decision came a turning point in his life and a conscious effort to focus his remaining years not only on more earthly matters, but to dedicate the rest of his life to his wife, Tony, and their soulmate journey together through physical time and space.
Yeah.
Which you should have been doing that a long time ago.
It's hard to focus on the things that matter when you're wrapped up in a K-hole talking to aliens, though. And you're getting government money for it. I don't know if he's getting grant money. We didn't talk about where the money's coming from.
Oh, I mean, I'm not sure if these later experiments are with government grants, but certainly all of the early work. I mean, he was I think he was given, I don't know, a good 10 years of that dolphin study money by NASA.
Sure, the Institute for Dolphin Boners.
Yeah.
NASA, not long. It's spelled weird.
It's an extra S.
Yeah.
Not long after this second brush with death, Dr. Lilly's close friend and ketamine research partner, Greg Enright, was involved in a head-on collision in the fog on Coast Highway 1. As Enright lay upon his deathbed, he was visited by Dr. Lilly, who took Enright's hand in his and made the following statement. "It's not so bad to die, Craig. I've been to the brink myself a few times, and I've seen over the edge. The beings have told me on several occasions that I was free to go with them, but I decided to stay here and continue my work in this vehicle that everyone calls John Lilly.
Yay, dude!
They showed me that I am one of them. You are one of us. I know that you know this because we've been there together. Whatever you do, boy. Craig, I love you."
That's comforting.
I love the voice he chose for him. That seems real spot
on your deathbed, Jordan. That's just him looking at you saying all of that.
That everyone calls Jordan Doll. And on the very next morning, Dr. Craig Enright shed his mortal coil. "Oh, I gotta go, fishes. Blah." But that's pretty much the John Lilly tale.
John Lilly experience. Damn, that was fucking crazy.
I do want to end it with one little thing. You know Stuart Gordon, the director?
Not really.
He's done a lot of his stuff is like H.P. Lovecraft adaptations.
Did he do Lovecraft Country?
Is he the Herbert West guy, Reanimator?
Yes, he did Reanimator. But there was apparently Stuart Gordon had a ostensibly pleasant lunch with Dr. Lilly. This would have been not too long ago, late 1990s, probably mid to late 1990s. And this is just very funny to me. Towards the end of the luncheon, Stewart says, when I explained the idea for my Honey, I Shrunk the Kids sequel, Dr. Lilly immediately broke into laughter. That's ridiculous, he told me.
Oh, that's ridiculous? You fuck.
And then he invited Stuart Gordon to drop ketamine with him as the effects only last a few hours.
Bro.
Stuart Gordon did not drop ketamine with him.
Are you telling me the director of Reanimator was also the director of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids too?
It's called Honey, We Blew Up the Kid.
I don't know if he actually directed it.
Boy. This is... So there is a fine line between a tale of brash scientific exploration and the account of a man in the throes of addiction going fucking crazy is what I've learned.
Yeah.
He's a mad scientist through and through. This is the true reality of what a mad scientist is, right?
Yeah. I mean, I bet I would be talking to aliens if I was doing K every fucking hour for 3 weeks or whatever.
Shooting it up, not orally ingesting it, not smoking it. You are shooting it
straight to the fucking main vein.
And I mean, he died in 2001. I don't know when the Stuart Gordon interview was, but it had to be, or the Stuart Gordon luncheon was, but I mean, sometime after, when did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids come out? Like 89, 90?
Yeah.
So
maybe 91. Yeah, it's a 90s film.
So the idea to have a sequel for it. So this guy started doing his acid experiments in the 60s and then went to K pretty quickly after that. And he's still doing it at this lunch.
Well, I mean, good for him.
How many fucking years has he been doing K every single day?
Every hour.
Every hour. Fuck. I don't care which way you slice it. That is a dependency, bro.
And he's
You're not doing science anymore. You're partying.
He's proud of it. He's at the luncheon going, excuse me, the next hour has passed and I need to shoot up my ketamine.
I must blast off to the alien dimension. All right, Roger, I feel like we could go on and on this one, but yes. Wild. Please bring it, speak into the skull.
May I have the skull, Nate?
Oh, please do.
Okay. So I was surfing the web. I had 10 toes on the mouse. And I found the webpage woodape.org.
Yeah.
And this website, turns out, is dedicated to our favorite North American great ape, Bigfoot, or the Sasquatch.
The Quidjibo.
And has a section where it is an encounter database. And I got legitimate encounters for a number of years. It is pretty in depth. I selected a few of them to read. Let's go into it, shall we?
Please.
All right. I'm going to go with the most recent, which let me find that. There we go. This is from what it looks like is December 1st of 2023. And it is a class 1D. I have no idea what the classes are. If someone can go to the website, I'll share and explain that. That would be great. But from what I saw, This 1D is a husband and wife observe massive figure at back of property. And then a 3A is also just an observation. So I don't know what any of these classes mean. It also happens in Oklahoma. I do know that at least. And it goes as such. Witness account. We live in OKC, Oklahoma City?
Yep.
Which seems to be in Cleveland County. It happened in January. My bad, I got the date wrong. January 2023 at around 7 p.m. We have a creek in the back of our property. My wife and I were in our car on January 7th, 2023. And at 7:15 p.m., we saw the figure as we pulled into our driveway. The headlights kind of lit up like a reverse silhouette, like it was hella bright with darkness all behind. It was down in the trees about 100 yards from us. We think it was gray or tan, maybe light brown because of how the lights hit it. The elevation drops off by the tree line, and we couldn't see its legs. It was walking at an angle away from us, turned a little bit to its left, raised its right arm up, and placed it on a tree, paused for a brief second, then walked directly into the woods. The sped it disappeared into the woods was quick, and it did not appear to run because it wasn't bobbing up or down like it was. That's a weird sentence there. It wasn't bobbing up and down like it was running.
I see.
It seemed to take large strides and was gone. It was huge. The torso was very thick, and as was its arms. A thickums boy here. We got into our house. I walked to our back patio and could smell something like a skunk.
Let's go.
All right, skunk ape territory.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. They estimate that it was 7'6" in height.
All right. This definitely sounds like a pretty credible eyewitness.
It doesn't sound crazy. I mean, I'm not picking up. I was on K and Bigfoot took my penis vibes.
There's also sometimes investigators' observations that go with it that go pretty into depth. There's map, location, and whatnot. Check out the website. I'm at reports.woodape.org.
Yeah, I have it right in front of me if you want the classifications.
Oh, what do they mean?
So a 1A is a wood ape specimen has been collected, alive or dead. A 1B, a 1B is a report investigation results in a wood ape or Sasquatch observation or the documentation of clear tracks or other forms of physical evidence by an investigator. A 1C is an investigator determines that a visual encounter with a wood ape or Sasquatch Bigfoot is a very reliable observer, or by a very reliable observer.
Okay. So
it's a distinct possibility. And the 1D is a visual encounter with a wood ape is a distinct possibility involving two or more reliable observers, and all other sources can be reasonably ruled out.
Okay.
I mean, this sounds like a 1D for sure.
So we're going to move to a 3B. What is a 3B?
All right. 3B. Unidentifiable vocalizations were reported, and there's accompanying tangible evidence to possibly indicate the presence of a wood ape. The observer is very reliable, and no other sources can be reasonably ruled out.
This one is titled, Wife is Frightened by Reoccurring Nightly Visits While Inside RV. It takes place in Taney County, Missouri, near Kirbyville at 9 p.m. Lights were on inside RV, and outside lights were on as well. The report goes as follows. I have been experiencing things since last summer. It begins with something throwing rocks at our RV. We are building a cabin and staying in our RV while building it. This went on for months, and then tapping on our windows began, along with throwing rocks and something rubbing against the RV. On May 6th, 2021, I was reading, and the tapping started on the windows where I sit in the living room. Shortly after that, I got up to finish cleaning my dishes, and something that I believe could be Bigfoot or something else began pulling on my door and trying to open it. I stepped back from the sink and growling began. I was so scared, and it kept trying to open the door and growling, and that is when it started to growl again, and I yelled, "Stop!" But it kept growling.
Sure.
Then I got on the phone and called my neighbor and then my husband. I am now coming with my husband to his work and sitting in the car because I am terrified to be there alone.
Well, this brings up one question that I have. Do we think Bigfoot has a natural sort of understanding of human language?
I don't think so. I mean,
I think he knows we are speaking a language, but I don't think he knows the language.
I think he probably knows what language is. I imagine there's a Bigfoot out there who has done, enough work that they know a few words. Maybe they hang around camps or something. But I'm pretty much with Roger. I think that they have the capability of speech, but they're not
around it enough to.
Yeah, they don't know when you say
yelling stop ain't gonna do nothing.
I mean, I yell it at my dog.
It's true.
Yeah, they Cheesebot on the chat is correct. They have native dialects of their own. There's been a few linguists, one in particular, who's all like, Bigfoot's got language. We've recorded it, and it is
samurai chatter, baby.
Samurai chatter. So we are now at a 1D encounter. And that is a couple has an encounter while hiking in Palmetto State Park. My husband and I decided to go to Palmetto State Park on our way home from New Braunfels.
Not a place. That's a lie.
To enjoy a nice hike. We began our hike at the beginning of the San Marcos River Trail. We were the only ones on the trail that day. At the beginning of our hike, my husband noticed what looked like an extremely large footprint to the left of the trail. We didn't think much of it and kept on our journey. We came to the spot where you can walk down to the river and swim or fish. We both walked down to the bank of the river to check out the spot. After taking a small break, we started back up the bank. I was in front of him when I heard him holler that someone had just thrown a large rock at him.
Okay, now this is Bigfoot territory.
I thought he was trying to scare me, so I didn't pay much attention to him.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
The relationship they have to where he yells, someone threw a large rock at me, and you think he's joking.
Yeah, you're always saying stuff like that. Oh, someone threw a rock at me. I think someone's been breaking into our house at night. This thing on my neck is getting bigger.
When we got to the top of the bank to the trail, he told me that something had thrown a large baseball-sized rock at him, which hit right behind him in the sand and rolled down the hill. He was visibly upset. We continued on our hike. While on the trail, we continued to hear noises in the woods and breaking sticks, but contributed it to local wildlife. Well, you're not wrong there. This is his area too. He's local.
Technically local wildlife, yeah.
Technically.
Then we heard a strange howl. It was similar of that to a cow, but different. Now, I know there are cows in the area, which we've heard.
Cows, no less.
And they saw many cows on the trail. But I know what a cow sounds like, and my husband grew up around and certainly works in the slaughterhouse business, and currently works in the slaughterhouse business. So he's heard all the cow sounds. This was not a cow.
It's more of a screaming situation. It's really unnerving.
Did you guys have a copy of that record in your house, Cow Sounds?
I did not. Is it horrifying? Is the end of the book horrifying when they go to the slaughterhouse and all you hear them is go, please no?
You just put it on at Halloween and stuff.
So they continue. They continue for a good while, somewhere on the trail, not far past one bridge, but before another. We heard a large crack and falling of a large limb of a tree right by the edge of the first bridge on the trail that we had crossed. We then heard running through the woods. It was not like a person running, but it was also not like a deer. It was a loud thump sound whenever it was hit the ground. My eyes immediately scanned the tree line and focused on a tall black something in the distance. I could clearly see the thing past and between the trees. It was tall and black, but very fast. It was faster than a person, but not as a deer because I could see its silhouette. It was not long, but it was not a hog because it was tall and not like an animal. It was more bipedal. I was watching it past the trees when it just disappeared, like it just stopped or something. I was in shock by what I had seen. My husband had walked back to where the limb hit the ground to see if we could find anything. Unfortunately, we did not have binoculars, but in the distance where the thing disappeared from my sight, there appeared to be some type of black thing either crouched or completely standing still besides a tree. We decided it was best to make our way on the trail and head out of here.
Yeah.
But we kept watch on the black thing we saw by the tree. The trees got thick and we could not see through for a moment. But when we got to another opening, we attempted to find the black thing by the tree where we had just seen it, and it was no longer there. We continued our walk with a lot of talk about it, crossed into the Oteen Swamp Trail, and that's where they heard the howl again.
The cow howl.
Closer and clearer than before. After that, there was no other incidences. Footprint we observed was large. My husband wears a size 9, and it was much larger than his with large toes.
Interesting.
What size are y'all?
Size 9. Come on, get out of here.
When I hear a size 9, I go like, "What are you, little?"
I'm a 9.5. What's wrong with that? No, that's not true. I'm a 10.5.
You're a big person. That's a respectable shoe size for a tall person. What are you, 6'9"?
This husband wears kids.
6'9". I am 6'3", according to my driver's license.
I am a little for my shoe size. I have a size 12.5 on as an average, 12 to 13, depending on maker.
Mambus Jambus.
Ken wears a 15.5. Get out of here. Your shoes have to be expensive.
About a guy with big shoes. Big socks.
Big socks. So the last one I'm ending on is a 3A. Nate, hit me with the classification for a 3A.
All right. That is, investigator determines that a visual encounter with a wood ape is a distinct possibility. The observer is credible, and all other sources can be reasonably ruled out.
Okay.
Witness account. This happens in Cherokee County, Texas, nearby Jacksonville. It happens at 1 p.m. on a clear and sunny day, November 2013. Witness account. I lived in a lake cabin for my first year of college. The lake and surrounding area were owned by a hunting club that has been around since the lake was built in the 1930s. My closest neighbor was an older gentleman that had lived most of his life on the property. He had always reminded me to take some kind of protection when I was hiking. I never paid much attention to him, though. In 2013,
that might just be a Texas thing. Like, bring your gun, boy.
In 2013, in early November, I decided to go hiking that afternoon. So around 2 p.m., I was heading out the door, walking past my neighbor's house and waving at him as I made my way to the trailhead. I hung my orange flag on the post to let people know I was hiking on that part of the property in hunting season. No flags were on the post when I got there, so I know I was the only one on that particular part of the property when I was there. It was a hunting club with only 20-ish members, so if someone was on the hill besides me, it was very unlikely. I continued on the trail for about a mile. Go on.
Are these orange flags like just to guard against people trespassing? Like,
I think it's so you know how many other hunters are out there.
It's to let people know that there's someone else out there.
It's like a sock. It's like a necktie on the door.
All right.
Yeah, there's
Somebody's
someone
in here
fucking
banging a deer.
They continue on the trail for about a minute to the first plot where they usually crept around a corner before they got there because there may have been some deer that I would stop and watch from a distance. That was a weird sentence, but apparently they were watching deer at a beautiful spot.
Those deer have got to stop coming by the hunting lodge.
They love it though. They put all those berries and aspen trees.
They see the other deer's heads on the walls, and they're like, "Oh, this seems to be a place where deer are allowed to come and hang out and and look through holes in the walls."
Now, I'm going to take a second and describe the immediate geography of this part of the property, says the author.
Thank God. Here we go.
The trail hugged the side of the hill at this point, and I was near the top. The feed plot was just off the left side of the trail, and immediately to the right of the trail, the hill dropped off pretty harshly to a wash that ran to the lake. I would say it dropped about 25 feet to the bottom of the wash, and it was steep enough that if I fell in, I would not be able to climb back up the trail. I started to walk into the clearing/feed plot. Then outside of a pump jack, there's a lot of colloquialisms here that I have no idea what they are.
No idea.
I assume a wash is like a kind of sandy bit of soil that leads to the lake, kind of like a creek. That's not. Not.
Yeah, I think that there's just not water running through it.
And a pump jack.
Pump jack is someone who fills up your gas tank in Oregon.
Okay, got you. So there was a guy in Oregon who was here in Texas and just kind of standing in the field.
He's like, fill it up.
And that was about 300 yards away. That constantly, so the pump jack was constantly running 300 yards in this direction, and it was automated, so it did it all the time.
Oh, we have breaking news from the Puppy Bowl. Team Ruff has taken the Lombardi Trophy.
Wait, it happened already?
It happened today, and I'm out 10 fucking grand. God.
Oh, I won?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
I expect my money tomorrow.
Like, I'll get it to you.
Yeah, or else I'm going to get Team Ruff to break your dog's knees.
Oh, no.
Okay, so back to the Bigfoot sighting. We're in this creekish area right next to a lake. Everything goes quiet. Birds stop chirping. Squirrels get very still. There was a squirrel in front of him. It got still. I was being watched by something. The woods just don't go silent like that, so I immediately went on guard. At this moment, I was standing in the middle of the feed plot, 20 yards away from me in the tree line in any direction. So just dead middle, 20 yards away in every direction, we have the tree line. Scared, I turned around to see if I could retreat back to where I came from because I had nothing on me. He told you to bring a gun.
Yeah, come on. Listen to the crazy old man.
Listen to the crazy old wizard Texan. I was ill-prepared to defend myself if I needed to. After I turned around and saw that nothing was behind me, but not sure what was watching, I quickly walked back to the tree line. The moment I got back to the tree line facing the direction of the trailhead, I heard what sounded like something of a low, grumbling whoop to the right side of my person. Hillside of the trail. I froze, taking a second to collect my thoughts of I walked past this thing, and it is between me and the house. I made the decision to confront it, thinking it may be a black bear. There are rare in this area of Texas, but people see them from time to time. Also, I think you're supposed to fight a black bear and not fight a brown bear, I think is the rule.
Yeah, generally speaking, I think if you make yourself look kind of big, that's supposed to deter a black bear.
You confront a black bear, but you don't a brown bear.
You probably shouldn't be fighting any bears.
I think you should.
Yeah. Overall,
let us know in the comments what you should do with a bear. Should you fight it? Should you play dead? Or should you give it a tricycle and teach it to ride it?
The choice is yours. We cannot walk this path for you.
So this person is 6'2", 240-ish at this point. This is what you're supposed to do with a black bear, apparently, is to fight it. And hogs, wolves, mountain lions don't make the sound I just heard. So I yelled, "Hey, this is my hill." And it steps out from behind a pine tree about 10 yards in front of me and to the right, and it yells back at me.
"No way, this is my hill."
It was a lot bigger than me. After that, I took one step over the trail and jumped to the bottom of the wash. I could hear it running on 2 feet for a few seconds toward me. I ran back to the house, and my neighbor said he heard a deep echoing yell before he saw me running home.
What did it say? I think it said, "Let's go, Brandon." Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
And that is some fun reading that you can do on reports.woodape.org.
Damn.
A North American wood ape conservancy. I don't know how words work, but it is dedicated to proving the existence of the animal commonly referred to as Bigfoot.
Pretty wild stuff.
You can apply for membership even. Let's get a membership for everyone.
Folks, tell us your Bigfoot stories. If you think you've seen Bigfoot out there, we're in a search of that A1 encounter. We want to trap him. And I think the way to do it is with kind of one of those tiger pits, but without spikes in it, you know?
Yes. With like pillows so it falls asleep.
Pillows and stuff. Yeah, why not? He's like, "Oh, I'll just stay here for a while." Are we doing that? Are we putting punji traps out in the woods? That seems like a good
I think we should. I think we should line them with pillows.
Sure.
And
what do we do with the people that we trap?
Well, you put some food in there. We rob them, obviously. Folks, thank you for listening to another episode of Werewolf Radar. This was a real fun one. You guys are the best for continuing to listen. Please give us 5 stars wherever 5 stars can be given. If you really like what we did, go over to patreon.com/Werewolf Radar. We've got some merch over there. You can sign up to help us with a small financial donation. You can become a Dark Council member and get an extra episode every week, in addition to little spooky surprises that we release all throughout the year. You can also check us out on twitch.tv/werewolf_radar, where we play Dungeons and Dragons. We've been playing some Lethal Company. We're probably going to play a ton of Helldivers 2, because that shit is fucking rad, man. I wish I was splattering monsters right now. What else? Shout out to Chuck from Snappy Little Numbers for our intro and outro song. You can find us all over the social medias. We're on every social media site you can imagine. Crushing it on Venmo right now.
Venmo people are liking our payments to the IRS.
Until next time, thank you so much for your continued support of the show. On the count of 3, our sign-off line. 1, 2, 3. Punch the sky, Spaceman Joe.